Hi, it's Mike with AskTractorMike.com. Got a short question from a viewer today and a long answer that may actually spill into two videos. But it's a great topic. It's one I've never covered before and I want to now. Question today comes from Kevin and he says, "Hi Mike, I am a new tractor owner and need some tools to perform basic maintenance. Do you have a list of tools needed for basic maintenance of tractors and their implements? Thanks, Kevin." Well, Kevin, I haven't had, but your letter spurred me to action. We're going to assume today, when talking about tools, that you've got the basic stuff. You know, set of sockets, set of wrenches, screwdrivers, pliers, you know, things like that, vice grips. Things that most of us have. If you've worked on cars or worked on anything, really, you've probably got these somewhere in a toolbox. So we're going to assume that you have all of those available to you. I want to talk today about 10 tools that are kind of unique to tractors. Maybe the quality of what you buy is unique to tractors, but they're things that you need the very first day you have delivery of a tractor. And we're going to start out today with the one that is the most important, that gets neglected a lot, and that is a grease gun. And up here on my workbench, this grease gun was one that came from the farm I grew up on, and I don't know exactly how old this is, and it may be two grease guns put together because the parts don't match, but get you a grease gun. And of course, you need a grease gun to force grease into the little zerks on the tractor where there's moving parts that need lubrication. These kind, the old kind, I hate these. They've got a long plunger that you have to pull out with a big spring on it to change the tubes, and there's a fiberboard tube in there and you got to fish it out, put the new tube in, and then let loose of the plunger, and that compresses the grease. The thing I hate about it, they sit on the wall and ooze grease because there's pressure here all the time. I got this one. I got a little bitty one here for the tight areas with a small canister that doesn't last very long. And then my all-time favorite grease gun is Lube Shuttle. And if you haven't heard of Lube Shuttle is a German-built grease gun with a screw-in canister. And to change canisters, you take the one that's empty out, you push a little grease up over the top on the new canister, screw it back in, and you're good to go. And how the Lube Shuttle works, it's got a lot of pressure inside of it, like somewhere between 4,900 and 5,400 pounds of pressure that sucks the grease out of the tube and pushes it where it needs to go. And this will put grease places those old grease guns and the cheap farm store grease guns especially won't go. But whatever grease gun you get, whether you get Lube Shuttle or a conventional grease gun, get a grease gun. And then get your owner's manual and find every grease zerk on that tractor. What most of us do, and I've done this and you don't want to do it, is just go around and find the ones you can see. And that's probably 95% of them, but the 5% you can't see could cause some major failures. So get your owner's manual, put it by your nightstand at night, read through it, find every grease zerk on that tractor and grease it as recommended by the owner's manual. It'll make your tractor last a lot longer and it'll prevent major failures. That's number one. The number two thing I would recommend you have when you take delivery of your tractor that very first day is a good torque wrench. And I have a Tecton brand torque wrench. It's not a snap-on, it's not a premium one, but for a weekend guy like me, it's all I need. And I'll put links to some of these down below. If you want to get them, you can. But the reason you need a torque wrench is there's so much vibration on a tractor, and you're going over rough terrain, and bolts work their way loose. And there's several you got to worry about. The ones that hold the wheels on the tractor, the ones that hold the center section to the rim, the ones that hold the drawbar on need to be torqued. The ones that hold the front end loader on. With so much vibration on a tractor, those bolts work their way out. And if you've got a new tractor, you really need to get your torque wrench and go around, find the owner's manual place where it says what the torque is on all those major big bolts and torque them. And I bet you, even on a new tractor, you're going to find a few that are loose. If the bolts get loose and you didn't torque them, that's not a warranty item. So we don't want to get into a mess like that. So get the torque wrench and use it. Number three on my list, get a good tire gauge. This is a really nice one I got a few years ago by going to a Kuhn Knight meeting. Kuhn Knight is a company that makes feeding equipment and hay equipment, and they were giving these away, and it's the best little tire gauge I've ever found, but it's about to give out, and I need a new one. So if you've got a really good brand, put it in the comments below. I'd like to know about it because I'm going to have to replace this one someday. Now, if you're checking a tractor tire with fluid in it, get your stem up at the top. It's still going to have fluid come out, but not as much as if it's at the bottom. Check your pressure, and there'll be, like I said, some fluid come out. And there'll be fluid come out in these gauges. Squirt some WD-40 down in there and work it around before you put it away to help prevent rust and other corrosion from forming inside one of these things. So number 3 is a really good tire gauge. The number 4 thing I'd recommend getting, you might already have it, and this doesn't apply if you live in South Florida, but for the rest of us that live in the Midwest and areas where it gets really cold, an antifreeze tester. Of course, most of you know how these things work. You put it down in the radiator, you pull some fluid up. Depending on how many balls float, that tells you how much protection you've got. Check it before you put your tractor away for the winter. You don't want a frozen, cracked block from not having enough antifreeze in your tractor. So get one of these. Number 5, I would recommend getting a good jack, because someday you'll have a flat tire. Tractors go out in areas that where there's thorn trees and there's sticks, and it's hard on tires. And so if you have a flat tire, you got to take it off, go get it fixed. You'll need a jack. And I really like this unit jack. This is a product Powerbuilt makes. It's a 6,000 pound jack. It's also a jack stand. So that's what I've got. It's picked up everything I've needed to pick up, and it's held it up there with that extra feature of having a jack stand that locks, a mechanical lock on it. So get you a good jack of whatever form you choose, and keep that handy. The number 6 thing I'd highly recommend, kind of goes right along with the jack, is an air compressor. When I was growing up on a farm, we started trying to do the cheap route and have a portable tank that we could take up to the filling station and fill with air, and then hope it still held the air when we had a flat tire. But when we got an air compressor, we thought we had made it. And the new air compressors, there's some portable ones that are fairly cheap that you can buy. Make sure you get a quick attach chuck on it, because you want to put an attachment on there that blows compressed air into areas that are dirty. If you're working on stuff, getting that dirt out of there before you get into it really helps out. So get you a good portable air compressor, and I think you'll find a lot of uses for it. It's something I wouldn't be without if I owned a tractor. The number 7 thing I'd recommend getting if you just bought a tractor is an oil filter wrench. And you, on a car, probably only use this to just, tighten and loosen the oil filter. On a tractor, there's a good chance your fuel filter, which you need to change from time to time, is threaded as well. And having one of these tools that conforms to any shape that you need to tighten or loosen is handy, so get that. The number 8 thing I wouldn't be without is in the top drawer of my toolbox, and it's one of these headlamps. When you're working on a car, a lot of times there's places you got to be where it's dark, and having one of these where you can see is real handy, and it's especially important on a tractor. So get you one of these headlamps and keep it handy. In fact, get several of them because they're pretty cheap anymore. The number 9 thing I want to recommend is a good set of goggles. And the thing I hate about goggles, I need to get me a new pair. They sit in the workshop and get all nasty. And I cleaned these not too long ago, and they get scratched up as you use them. But when you're working on a tractor, you can get debris in your eyes. If you're, grinding anything, sharpening any kind of blades, you can get stuff in your eyes. We want to protect our eyes. And right along with that, and I need to do a better job of this myself, I've lost a good part of my hearing being around equipment all my life, is earplugs. When you're working on something that's running, put these earplugs in and protect your ears. There. I'm wearing these all the time now when I mow with my zero turn, because if you don't, you damage your hearing. And I wish I'd have taken better care of myself when I was younger. Finally today, the number 10 tool I wouldn't be without, and this is kind of not really a tool, but sort of is a leaf blower. And I got this electric one a couple years ago. My wife bought it for me for Christmas. And if you're around equipment and you've been out brush hogging and you've got debris everywhere, knocking it off with one of these before you put it in the barn will really keep your area a lot cleaner. If you need to clean your radiator, you can a lot of times get one of these in and blow a lot of that debris out. And I just use mine all the time. It's one of my top 5 favorite tools. But get a good leaf blower and keep your tractor cleaned off. These were the 10 items I would absolutely not be without if I owned a tractor. And next week, I'm going to talk about 10 more items that I really recommend. It'll make your life a lot easier. It'll make all your maintenance a lot easier. And we're going to talk about them. And I will put a link at the end of this video when that video is posted that links to that. So stay tuned, watch that. And then if you've got any suggestions, I learn a lot of stuff from my viewers. If you've got other tools I don't know about that you use and wouldn't be without, put them in the comments down below. Appreciate you watching my videos. If you'd like to subscribe to my YouTube channel, I'd be honored. You can do that by clicking the mic face icon and checking the bell so you're notified when I post future videos. Here's a link to my website and the Tractor Fun Store with some of these items for sale on it that helps support my YouTube channel. And here's another video you might want to watch. Thanks for watching.